Welcome to the history. Welcome to the culture. Welcome to community that dreams and achieve. Living in change for better tomorrow. Welcome to the Eunice Malath Show.
Welcome to the Eunice Malath Show. I'm your host, Eunice Malath. On tonight's program, we're going to highlight a critical issue that focuses on the struggle of women and also the aspirations of women. I'm going to go ahead and show you a video that was filmed by the organization called Human Rights Watch, which focuses on forced marriage in South Sudan. Young girls as tender as the age of 12 are being forced to get married, not out of their own free will, but because of the needs of their families to attain dowry in the form of cattle or money. And we know when it comes to forced marriage, it limits a young girl's educational process, increases their likelihood of experiencing poverty, and of course, it just sets the family back generations. So here is an important topic on forced marriage.
Marriage is very, very important in South Sudan. Women are really defined by their ability to get married and have children. So it's a very, very important institution for communities. It has a huge social value. But for younger women and girls, when they're forced into marriage, it really can have very negative impacts.
Mama madarasa ma fi ma zara bi ayele bidda fala na gurusta madarasa la sala na gani fi beja man tawila na bamul su ila na bira fi multi.
South Sudan is considered to be one of the hotspots of child marriage globally, and about 48% of girls between the ages of 15 and 19 are married. There are not clear statistics on how young, but there's certainly evidence that we ourselves have collected that some girls as young as 12 are getting married in South Sudan.
Ajabu ben pan daya. Achina no chibule kuleli yen nyan kai. Akini tiaga akini to akini tiaga. Aye chinyan kai la nyol che man chan che moinde to. Kinyan de na pya te nyi cha. Ayen mana be ablarur bela majok. Kai no randin che tiam ya kana ho gi. Ka bni ma ho kinyan kai. Ku betwe bi ja to ti. Kana kan be gam cha lu kulel no elbet an chi la wuti.
Dowry is a very, very significant factor in child marriage in South Sudan because it is paid by the husband's family to the girl's family. In some of the pastoral communities, it's usually paid in cattle, which have great social and cultural and economic significance.
Narenya lelen de kore monyi te kore ba tiak de monyi alwel ku kanong mal bi tiak monyi nare che kan ku lel ku lot jan bo wayen mal.
Girls face violence at every step along the way. So girls who try to resist marriage, girls who run away, are assaulted, are brought back, are locked up.
O ketira wanita buti gani ya roki agan bi jaldom Kujar ga en benang pande no diende to mading pan wen wele ne ma to ti mading. Go ga en dam kurit ka na wor ki 3 day. Der ka chu ku der ka chen ku du ya kilo ngali kilometer. Ku der ga na bil karaba.
Girls often face violence once they are married. Younger girls are much more vulnerable to domestic violence than older girls.
Yolo bika gum, ubara nuru yana ta sana na mabi fata ba. Ubara nuru yana ta ambara waga tehe. Yolo silu santur minta martaba zero tala santuro biya nuru mana mahala de ini be. Ya bigo o kande dugana feras jamande na ta fata o kande dugana feras yana badam hulda ta zere. Ya to albara gati rata. Ana gasi to nuru rata be nuru taro gata be gata. Yankoro wi mata ida ta ental gana munzere.
We don't have a lot of children institutions that can accommodate girls that ran out from their house because of early marriage. They are vulnerable, you know. They don't have income, they don't have anything. They are depending on their families. So it will be difficult for them. So the most important thing is like government to increase the level of awareness and government provide more children institutions who can accommodate those girls that ran out from because of early marriages.
The younger you are when you get pregnant, the more risks there are that you might die in childbirth, that you will have serious long-term health issues relating to early pregnancy and childbirth.
Zaman buaya aja deh, usilat bayang. Saya mentutup, ya tali. Selana bemusaswa. Lagi zaman na wale dude, zaman na bira wale dude. Jana kama dartala, udar katolana. Gua tama feja jidwana bemagas. Sanjana jatala. In silence and respect.
That is senior 3A, senior 3B, senior 3C. We have the female students are 204, and then the male students are 501. Still, you will find that the number of boys are more than the number of girls. In South Sudan, generally, people don't tend to put effort in girls such that the girls can go for studies, because people have got these cultural beliefs. They feel that a girl, there's no need to take a girl to school because a girl has to stay in the house and she has to get married. And once she is married, she will get cattle to the house and get money.
The first step that we would like to see is we would like to see a very explicit ban on marriages below the age of 18. We need a law that is clear and unequivocal that any marriage that involves a child below the age of 18 should be declared unlawful. We need training for the police. We need resources to be put aside to develop shelters. We need to make sure that the health system is able to provide care and support to pregnant teenagers, to girls who are trying to resist marriage, and to young mothers. So, you need a comprehensive strategy, you need money, and you need political will.
Our next guest is named Dr. Jane Kenny Edward. She's a professor at Fordham University in New York. Some of the courses she teaches at the university include Women in Africa, Africa Studies. She's originally from South Sudan, and she's such an important figure because she highlights how if women are given the opportunity to attain an education, they can make great changes within a society. So Dr. Jane is going to talk to us about her educational process, but also the work of women within the society itself.
My name is Dr. Jane Kenny Edward. I'm from South Sudan. I started my school in Yei County in Central Equatorial State. And then I went to intermediate school in Juba, high school in Juba, and I went for my undergraduate at the University of Juba. So when I finished from University of Juba, I worked briefly with the government there. And then I got a scholarship, the Ford Foundation Scholarship, to go and do my graduate studies at the American University in Cairo. So when I finished my graduate studies, I was unable to go back to South Sudan because during that time, the war was going on. That was in the 90s. So I decided to go to Canada. So I stayed in Canada for almost 7 years. During that time, I joined the University of Toronto and did my PhD on women and gender issues. And my research actually focused on South Sudanese women refugees in Cairo, whereby I went back to Cairo in 2001 to do my research there. And then I came back after my graduation. I moved to the US to join my husband, who was teaching at Fordham University. And I have been here now since 2005, and I'm teaching at Fordham University in New York City. And some of the courses that I'm teaching include women in Africa, African history, and contemporary African immigration to the United States. And in addition to my teaching responsibilities, I also do research among the African immigrant communities in the Bronx, one of the boroughs of New York City. So the main reason that we started to focus on the African immigrant community, because when we started, like the Department of African American Studies started a research in 2005 to focus on the African diaspora, they realized that there are so many people from West Africa who reside in the Bronx, and that's how I became part of the Bronx African American History Project to focus specifically on the West Africans who came to the U.S. In the period between 1985 to the present. So my main focus there was that we have to change the discussions about African immigrants. Instead of focusing on their challenges that face them or the problems that they encounter when they arrive to the U.S., we have to shift the focus to their own contribution, not only to the communities in the U.S., but also to their communities in Africa through sending money home to help those who are left behind, through establishing communities in the U.S. that actually cater not only for the African community, but also for other residents in the areas that they reside in. And that's what I've been doing in addition to my teaching responsibilities. I'm also the Secretary for Women and Youth Affairs for the Equatorial South Sudanese Community Association in the United States. And I took that role when the election was held in 2011 in Colorado. And up to today, I'm still the Secretary for Women Affairs. And my belief is that any society, whether a Western society or an African society, they need to take women seriously. And I know that based on my own personal experience and through my research on women issues, particularly in South Sudan, I realized that women in South Sudan actually are suffering. There are so many women who are unable to go to school because of the challenges that are going on in that country. There are young girls who are struggling to sustain their lives without maybe parents or any other adult to take care of them. So it's important that each society, and in particular the South Sudanese society, should empower women through education, because I believe that through education, women will be able to improve their own conditions. Because if you know something about life around you or the society that you reside in, you'll be able to change something in your own life. In addition to education, we need a collaborative work, not only women by themselves, but we have to collaborate with our male counterparts, because without that collaboration, it will be very difficult for any female to improve situation or empower the other marginalized groups. And it's good that after the signing of the peace agreement in 2005, the leadership of the SPLM actually was able to acknowledge the role that women played, whether during the war or even during peacetime. So they realized that actually they have to redress the marginalization of women, and they were able to allocate 25% representation of women in all levels of government in South Sudan. And that's a very good step towards empowering women's positions in South Sudan. But we should not stop with the 25%. We have to move beyond the 25%. And what I mean by moving beyond the 25%, it means we have to implement programs that can improve women's lives. We need health programs, because I visited South Sudan in 2013, between July to August 2013, to carry out the research for the SAT Institute based in Juba. And what I realized during that time is that there are so many things missing that are needed at least to improve women's lives. Issues of health. I visited the hospital, the Juba Teaching Hospital, and the situation was terrible. I visited other women's groups, and they find it very difficult to sustain their programs. For example, when I went to Ye in early August, I visited a farmers association, and most of the members of those associations, actually, they're women and they're men. And some of the challenges that they narrated to me include storage facilities for their harvest. They find it very difficult. When they harvest many crops, sometimes they don't have a storage to store their products. Another one is transportation, so that they'll be able to access markets for their crops. That's another challenge. Secondly, they need tools that they can use to improve their agricultural productivity. So instead of focusing on the 25%, we have to focus on important programs that actually can improve women's lives. I mentioned education, health, agricultural facilities need to be improved. Infrastructure is very important, because if you develop the infrastructure, people will be able to move from one location to another. Traders will be able to take their trade items from one location to another, so that they'll be able to access the market. And if we come back to the diaspora, because I know that there are so many South Sudanese who are in the diaspora. They came here for many reasons. Some of them came as a result of the conflict that was going on in South Sudan in the 80s through 90s after 2005. Others came for studies and were unable to go back because of the conflict that was going on. And they established their communities here. They have their children here, and they made this country their home. So they also need to work hard to make sure that they also excel in this country. They have to pay attention to the education of their children, because without education, you will not be able to survive in this country. So we have to work hard. And also those of us who are doing research, whether in academic institutions or private institutions, at least, we have to focus on the positive aspects of the African community in general, as well as the South Sudanese community in particular, so that people know about, for example, our cultures, our rich African cultures, and they also understand that although African people, when they come here, they face some challenges, but still, they didn't give up in their lives. They struggled very hard by taking multiple jobs, by opening their own businesses, so that they'll be able to sustain their lives here in the U.S., as well as helping those left back through remittance. And also the creation of a community organization promote the cultural aspects of the African people and South Sudanese people in particular in the U.S.
In our society where women's voices are not as vocal as those of men, our next guest has taken a lead in ensuring that women's voices are heard. Her name is Rachel Alec. She is a journalist and also the publisher and founder of the first women magazine in South Sudan called Real Women Magazine.
Okay, my name is Rachel Alek. From South Sudan. I'm a journalist by profession. I'm married, 30 years old. Yep. Since 2009. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where did you go to school for journalism?
Here at the University of Juba. I actually did my primary and high school in Kenya. Then I was like, let me go back home. Then at home here, I started working and it was not well paying. I was like, let me go to the university. Maybe after the university, I might get a chance to get better money. And seriously, it worked. Yeah, because I was seeing a lot of things that I can really rebuild when I'm a journalist, instead of choosing any career that I can just go to the office, come back when I will not really enter into people's life. Because being a journalist is a career that can mix you. It can give you a chance to meet with people of the lower class that our community ignore, and you can talk to them freely. You can meet with the people that the society fear, and you talk to them. So I was seeing it was a good career, and especially to give a chance to women to voice their problems, because in South Sudan we have a lot of issues, starting from women health, girl child education, gender-based violence, and a lot of things. So I was like, let me try to highlight things in my career. The most thing, I'm not seeing anything difficult, because here in South Sudan, especially when it comes to health issues, we have a lot of cases now with people living with HIV and AIDS, and women have started to speak up on how they should protect themselves, on how they can have a groups when if by bad luck they are sick, then they have a group and they know how to cancel themselves. So recently I did an interview with a woman that is living with HIV and AIDS, and she speak out. So I'm not seeing anything hard. Yeah. No, it was back in the days. It happened, there was a political rally that I cover, and my camera was taken by the security personnel, and later they give it back to me. Yeah, that was the only incident.
Okay. Yeah. So you have a magazine?
Yeah, I have a magazine called Really Woman Magazine.
Okay.
Okay, Really Woman Magazine, after I worked for so many media houses, I find it hard that to cover women's stories, because sometimes I'm sent by the editor or anyone, go and cover this story, and to not focus on women. So later, after I work enough, I raised some money, then I was like, let me establish a women magazine. It will be a platform for our South Sudanese women to discuss and share ideas and learn from each other, and then we reach somewhere. So I try to come up with a magazine purposely to educate them, to entertain them, and to inform them, basically on health, family issues, education, beauty, fashion, and so many. Yeah. We had our first issue in this month, in February. So it is still in the market now, and it is selling very well. Yani women are very happy. They are so glad that they have what they call their own. And men are like asking questions, really woman? So where's the really man? And seriously, I'm like, okay, you men make your own Really Man magazine, and this is our own magazine. And you guys are also allowed to read to know what is bothering us or how far we have come. So, and also in our magazine, we don't focus on weak stories, she's vulnerable, she's what, but we bring out some strong ladies that are doing something in the society that can motivate and help other women to come up and say, yes, I can try this and do that. Yeah, I'm married, and I have been married 2 years ago. I have a son, and I'm happy. Both family, they are okay. But seriously, my dad is supporting me. He's the one that is backing me up in everything. Even when it comes to finance, he's the one who helped. Yani, he bring a hand sometimes. He's like, do this, add in. Because he was pushing me. It happened before I was having a magazine with another partner, but things didn't work out. She went back to her country. She was from Netherlands. And then later I was like, okay, since she have left, she didn't take all the ideas that I have. So I had to come back and do what I can. And that's why I come up with it. So my family is like, they're supporting me. It's only sometime in this country when they see a lady is so independent, she's not asking a man for money, they become feeling serious, like it become a threat to them, and they're like, maybe she went to divorce or something. They will not tell you, but you'll see it on their faces. They don't really like independent women in this country. But what do? We must be independent.
I hope that tonight's program inspired you to take into consideration the plight of women and also to advocate for the freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom for young girls and women to choose their partners in life, because it is very disturbing when only a particular segment of a society are permitted to choose their partner, are permitted to live their life as they so select. So I hope that this really inspires you to make changes not only within your society, but also in different aspects of the world when it comes to women issues. Join us next time here on the Eunice Malath Show. Thank you.
If you believe, you can achieve.